Hey guys, so I wanted to do a video discussing how I organize my schoolwork. So as you guys know, the first thing that I use is a planner. At the beginning of the semester, I fill out my planner with all of my syllabus information, and then I kind of go on from there. I do plan like when I want to dates that I want to have things done by, and I usually try to stick to those very well. But the way that I prioritize my work is from most important and hardest to least important and easy. I know that once you reach a certain level in your academic career, everything will be important and everything needs to be done. However, or that perception comes across. However, I would disagree. I would say that not every project and not every piece of homework and not every class holds the same weight. Um, Personally, I think that a prime example would be this past semester when I had a geology class and a history core writing class. Okay, yes, they're both important because they both affect my GPA, but only one affects my department GPA that has to do with my degree and kind of how graduate schools would look at it. I don't necessarily have to be a whiz in geology. However, if I'm not doing well in my history classes and I'm applying for a PhD in history, that might look a little strange. So, as you guys can see, you really have to kind of weigh these things out. As a student, you have to make decisions about your academic career and kind of how you're going to lead it and what things you're going to do and what things you're not going to do. So I think that that's how I prioritize mine. For me, my history classes are always really important. Everything else is important, however, not as important as that. Just as this past semester, graduate applications were important, possibly even more important than my actual classes because my actual classes are here and now. I am going to graduate in May, but PhD is another 7 years that I need to invest time in so that I can continue my education. So I would say think about it like that. I'm not saying don't do certain assignments. I'm always a stickler for the tiny busy work assignments because those are extra points that you need. Um, it's just that sometimes you would prefer to spend more time on one project over another, which is what I did, and which is what I do, and I don't feel bad about it. I think you have to be conscious of the fact that there are only 24 hours in the day, and that personally for me, I work and I have a family, and I don't have a social life though, but I do have a family and I do have responsibilities. Besides being a student, I'm not just a student. So I would say think about it like that. Feel it out, see how you feel about it, see what works for you, how you prioritize certain projects, and also another part of it that I find that makes large projects easier, especially compositions or when you're doing research, is to break them down into smaller projects. So let's say I'm doing a study. My first aspect of my study would be to select a topic. Once I've done that, then the next one is to do research. And so I do all my research, and then the next part, and then the next aspect from that is developing a case. What I'm going to discuss, and then editing my case, and then doing my outline and stuff like that. So I think instead of looking, oh my god, I have to write a paper that's 21 pages, just be like, well, I've written a paper that's 15. This is 6 more pages. These are things that in my 15-page paper didn't fit, and then you can slowly start to expand as to what you have to include in these studies in order to make them longer or shorter, depending um, what you're going to discuss or the approach that you're going to take. So again, I think that those are easier ways of thinking about it. You want to break down projects, you want to make deadlines for yourself, you want to make things as simple as you can because in all honesty, like these things are simple. They're not very complicated. They do have a lot of parts to them, which some students don't address properly or forget to add or take away something or present it in a strange way. But I think that if you're a junior or senior, especially if you're a senior in college or at your university, you should know the approach that your department takes. You should have a good idea as to what they expect from you as far as writing. Like I said, when we write with the Turabian guide, that's how we notate our things. Um, and I have a good I think, good understanding as to the type of work that they expect me to do, and kind of the approach to it. So if you find yourself floundering, or if you're a freshman or sophomore and you just selected your major, those are things that you want to pick up on, because those things are going to help you later. Later, you're going to be worrying about what to research, which is one of the funnest parts, I think, picking your own topics and how to research it, how to present it, how to make it more convincing. You're going to be worrying about all the creative aspects of it, instead of worrying about the basic stuff that you probably should have learned already. And that is the thing that I always tell people, that history is very creative. There is a method, and there is definitely a discourse that is used in the approach of history, but it is very creative what you're going to study and what you're going to try to get out of it. I think a perfect example, because I love history, is Helen Jewett by Cohen. She takes the case of this one prostitute that got murdered and kind of shows the society and infrastructure of New York City during that specific time period. So I think, you know, to figure that out and to want to study something like that, I think definitely takes a lot of creativity. So that's how I prioritize my stuff. I look at, what's more important. I make sure that I try to get everything done, but I do make a conscious decision of picking to spend more time on some projects over others. The other thing that I do about that is that if I don't care much about the class, I pick an easier project. So for history, lately I've been really trying to challenge myself, because you don't want to pick an easy project. You don't want to pick something that someone has researched before and it's been researched to death. You don't want to do Galileo's letter to the Duchess Christina yet again, because everybody does that. You want to do something different. You want to do something new, especially if you want to get it published or you want to go to a PhD program or something like that. So that has definitely been evolving and changing. However, for geology, I did do really basic projects that were very simple, because that's not my major. So in order to do something basic but do it very well, was okay with me. So I hope that helps. And again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Bye.